It's easy to look at gaming and see that the massive AAA games are the big news and the most expected games from most communities, that these will be the best the year has to offer, simply based on scope and ambition. Though I feel with 2020, something changed. That there was a shift that flipped this idea of the big boys being the go-to games, the king of the lot. Those changes came in the form of two simple games, Among Us and Fall Guys. While both these games have a charm to them, the fact that they are so uncomplicated in their execution, design and gameplay shows the extent of how a simple idea can appeal to the mass and be so refreshing from the exhausting, open world run-of-the-mill games we are usually accustomed to. It's with this that my mind started to appreciate the absolute joy from this easy, straightforward gameplay and coming to enjoy it a great deal. It doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't need a super long, compelling story. Heck, it doesn't even need a story. I think looking back on games from a few generations ago, this also applies. They are effortless to go back to due to being uncomplicated and focus on controls that are quick and fun to get a grasp of. And with that said, it brings me to something I really wasn't expecting to enjoy anywhere near as much as I did. But with that idea of a simple, fun game, it took me by surprise. And that game is it wrong to try to shoot 'em up girls in a dungeon? And while that title is wholeheartedly misleading and very questionable, please stick with me. This is a fun game and not something dirty. There is no story to this game, however if you know the source material from which this game is based, then you will be able to follow along and understand where each fight takes place in this side-scrolling shoot 'em up. This is honestly a nice touch, but no knowledge of the series is needed to enjoy it. You can be completely fresh to it and just as easily enjoy it as much as someone like me who has the understanding of the series. The funny thing is that this was DLC for a game I'd rather not talk about anymore, that was exclusive to Japan until recently. And it saddens me that this wasn't included in Infinite Combat Day over here outside of it. Really could have salvaged some of that game. And I find it even sadder that the whole game wasn't made like this. My god, that would have been a brilliant game. But as a standalone game, which it is now, Shoot 'em up girls in a dungeon is a pure blast to play. There's not much you need to understand to get a grip of this game. You're constantly moving forward. You have a standard attack of rapid fire which can be upgraded in two ways, power and speed with varying levels. You get these from going through a stage and opening chests, but most importantly, it genuinely makes a difference. The sense of progression it gives through these power-ups is handled excellently and feels gratifying. However, if you're hit, you lose one of each power-up. Make sure you keep aware of your surroundings as you really want to hold on to your boost so you can rack up a high score. You have a certain amount of health which you can recover by yet again beating enemies or chests that drop them. You have a special attack that pretty much kills anything in your path and destroys any projectiles that are coming your way. They have a neat idea though. You can use the special attack, but it will cost you your multiplier. So if you're aiming for a high score, there's incentive to try and reduce your use of your special attack in order to rake in the points. And let's face it lads, getting to show off your high score is the greatest achievement of any gamer. You have a few extra lives for when you die to respawn that you will need if you try the harder levels, and one thing I must seriously praise about this game is the way they handle difficulty. It has 4 modes, easy, normal, hard and death. And with each new mode, things are mixed up a bit. The lowest difficulty is the most straightforward and is easy enough to plow through. But as you go up in difficulty, the patterns in which monsters appear are changed slightly, and you have a few more enemies on screen to face. But the greatest addition it adds is the alteration to how monsters attack. Their moveset gets added upon to the point that when you get to death mode, it really feels like the advancement made through each difficulty level is warranted. Too often do I find the extra difficulty in games simply make enemies deal more damage and become bullet sponges. So it's always riveting to see an approach like this that really changes up the game and gives the game more replay value. Along with Eyes, who is the main character you control, you can have 2 support characters to help aid you through the stages. At first you have to unlock a few. However, once you unlock Riveria, you're pretty much going to be just using her as she is a powerhouse that has wide range and a serious attack power. though you have ultimate moves that each of these party members have, which are super useful. I feel there was a small missed opportunity here by not having the game be 2-player. I could really see the potential for a mode like that, where you could sit down and play together. Sure, the mechanics might have to be a little reworked, but this type of game would be perfect for it. There's only a handful of stages, and you'll be through each in a few minutes a top. The game is super short, and because of that has an arcade feeling to it. It's easy to pick this game up if you only have a wee while to spend playing, or simply don't want to pull out a bigger game to work away at. It brings a simple joy to gaming that feels more forgotten in this day, and I have to say I've enjoyed playing this more than most big games I've played as of recent. The game has a fantastic pixel art style, and while the surroundings can be very simple at times, the game is very pleasing to the eyes, and it is really helped along by its music. It's nothing stunning, but highly effective for getting you in the mood to play the game with the 8-bit style sound. There is a small issue though, where the music will fade out and be silent till you reach a boss, though I'm not sure if that's a glitch or a creative touch. But it does feel a little weird when the music stops and you're left with nothing but the yells of your characters and your moves being fired off. Also, boss battles in this are class! Overall, this is a simple, joyous game that was just so refreshing to play, and I think it hits home the point of looking at games that you normally wouldn't look at. Because I know a lot of people stick to the big releases, but if you need to cool down from those games, Is It Wrong to Try to Shoot 'Em Up Girls in a Dungeon is the type of experience you might just need. Fun, short, and it isn't even remotely time consuming compared to other games out there. And best of all, this is free to pick up on Steam, PSN, or Nintendo's eShop. So why not give it a whirl? And you might just end up being as surprised as me with what you find. It's time to slow down and look at the games that exemplify the joys of gaming. Also, I guess I can finally say Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon now has a fantastic game on consoles. Not many anime based games can do that. I've been Pack Hardy from the Republic of Players. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that gibberish. And until next time, have a good one.